This is Africa. And today I take you on the best safaris on the entire continent. And we start in Tanzania.
Welcome to Out of the World, and you're still joining me on safari, where the last time you saw us in Tarangire,
Which turned out to be Africa's #1 elephant paradise. But of course we see many other animals too on our first safari drive.
Good morning guys, and it's time for day 2 of our African safari here in Tanzania. We slept in a little place called Karatu, a little town just close to the Ngorongoro Crater, which is a natural phenomenon. It has so many beautiful animals living inside the rims, and among them the biggest concentration of predator animals in the entire world. They have lions, they have hyenas, and we hope to see rhinos today. So let's go.
In this authentic African village we have breakfast on the top floor with a fantastic view. In the middle of all the safari parks we also get a nice insight into the African daily life.
From Karatu we drove for about 15 to 30 minutes and we enter the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, which is quite big, and the crater itself in the middle is only about 14 kilometers in size. But with that size it's the biggest crater in the world, and all the animals that live inside have an animal kingdom ruled by the lion. We first make a stop at the crater rim, so everything you see below is the area that we're gonna drive through and see all the animals in. Wow! We drove for about half an hour from the viewpoint to reach the inside of the crater. We're at the rim now, getting the permits, and the road towards this place was so bumpy, I wouldn't call it a road, I would call it a free massage. But it's time to spot the animals now, guys.
The peculiar word Ngorongoro is named after the sound of a cowbell. When it was used by the farmers here, the local Maasai tribe started to call this area Ngorongoro. About 25,000 animals live on the bottom of the crater. And the first one that we spot is one of the big 5, the elephant. Soon we would also see hundreds of zebras, wildebeests and this eland antelope.
What's very awesome about the month January is that you see a lot of babies, because this is the month that all the animals have little ones. So we saw them, for each animal actually.
It seems that I'm not the only one on a day out with my little guy. See here the second of the big five, the buffalo. We also spot many warthogs, and if you look closely in the distance, there is a lion walking by. We step on the gas and head on over there.
In the middle of the crater there's a very big lake, and in that lake we see a bunch of hippos swimming by. You can't.
While we are still busy with the hippos, our next target is walking by along the edge of the lake, because we didn't see a hyena yet. This is also a paradise for bird watchers. See here the Abdim stork and the Kori bustard.
So far we saw 3 of the big 5 in Ngorongoro. We saw the elephant, we saw the buffalo and we saw the lion. But now we're gonna see the 4th one, because over there in the distance is a rhino, a black rhino. And I think we're gonna see it pretty well.
With only 30 specimens, this is one of the rarest animals in the crater.
Wow, Jens, they're so close. We see 3 ostriches, 1 male and 2 females, right over there.
Because the animals are so easy to spot, this has to be one of the best places in Africa to take your kids on a safari.
I got another big tip for you guys. If you see a toilet, use it, because there's not so many of them in the Ngorongoro Crater. So yes, I'm gonna empty my bladder, but inside you'll see there's about 50 of them. It's time to have lunch, and we do this at a super nice spot because you have a lake over here just beneath the mountains, and in the lake are some hippos again. We see a lot of birds as well. So yeah, I call this lunch with a view. Enjoy, guys!
Enjoy, guys!
Looks good!
Hey guys, there's a lion sleeping right over there in the tube. You see it? Wow.
Look, we see a crowned crane.
Well guys, we're back at the rim again of the crater, and this day was such a special day. Ngorongoro, I can really recommend it because there's so many animals down there, even more than we saw yesterday in Kruger National Park. And we saw rhinos, so now it's 4 of the big 5. Let's go to the hotel. And tomorrow there's another day of safari, in case you didn't know.
Totally fulfilled, we drive back to our lovely hotel for a feast on the top floor. Don't forget to subscribe on Wout of the World and travel with us through Africa for many more videos to come. For the next safari park in our list of best safaris in Africa, we fly to South Africa.
For a new adventure with this guy over here. A 4x4 camper with 2 rooftop tents for a road trip in Southern Africa. We're here, guys. This is the promised land. After Upington we had to drive for another 2.5 hours, but this here is Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park. It's the most beautiful park in the west of South Africa, and it's near the border of Namibia and Botswana, and it's on the edge of the Kalahari desert, which I know from all the documentaries on TV. So the next 3 days we're staying inside the park and doing some nice safaris, and there's a campsite as well, so I'm in heaven. Ta-da! Our safari camp for the coming 2 nights and 3 days. How adventurous do you want it to be? Good morning, guys! We just spent our first night under the stars in the Kalahari desert. How special is that? We had some breakfast and now it's time for our first morning game drive before it gets too hot, because it is a desert. And what can we see in there? In the 38,000 square kilometer big national park. It's called Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park and it goes all the way, like I said, into Namibia and Botswana. You can find two of the big five, the lions and the leopards, so it's the predators especially. And we are gonna try to find some water holes to see if they're gonna be around there. So we're gonna do a small loop now and tomorrow a whole day. Let's go on safari.
It seems like we've been sleeping between wild animals all along.
The safari already starts this morning on the campsite because before we left we already saw a lot of pretty birds and some yellow mongooses. They look like foxes and meerkats at the same time and they walk around the campsite here looking for food. They're awesome.
Awesome, but now let's find some bigger animals.
Before we enter the park, we take a little bit of pressure off the tires because it's all sand roads and you can do that on the campsite. So a little bit to make it smoother ride. Now I have to close the gate from the inside and technically speaking, a lion could catch me at any moment.
No lions yet, but we soon see the first springboks. And all kinds of antelopes like these dik-diks and gamsboks.
We're playing a fun game, guys. There's this folder we have from the park with all the animals in it. And whoever sees the animal first gets 1 point. I'm leading 3-2-0 in the back over there because I saw the gamsbok.
We drive through an endless no man's land, which extends all the way into Namibia and Botswana, but even all the way into Angola and Zimbabwe. It is one of the least populated areas in the world because it's hot and extremely dry. Kalahari actually means great thirst. Yet we see many animals, such as this northern black korhaan. We also see a lot of wildebeests and many different birds of prey, such as this pale chanting goshawk.
Secretary bird, check. We just stepped out of the car for a minute, guys, and you can do so on one of the many picnic spots. So you have a nice overlook of the area, you can go to the bathroom, and it's bloody hot outside. It's about 40 degrees Celsius because this is the end of the dry period. So it's burning hot until the rain is gonna fall in February and March. It's now end of January. The animals are also a little bit hidden, but I think so far we found a lot of them, so we're doing good. Wow, guys, while you're looking for lions and cheetahs and other big animals, don't forget to look for the smaller ones because we see 2 owls over here in bright daylight. Well, they're nocturnal animals actually. Look, look, look.
couple of meters away.
I take the lead, guys, with the next animal over there, giraffes. I saw them, but I give the points to Jens because it's his favorite animal.
Hey Jens, giraffe.
What makes this adventure so great is that we see all these animals, but we haven't seen a single human soul yet. This here is a swallow-tailed bee-eater. And hidden in the tall grass we often see jackals. Despite that harsh climate, the Kalahari Desert is home to 320 different species of mammals and birds. And what a show do we get to see today!
Look, cheetahs!
Guys, this is so awesome. There are 2 cheetahs over there against the tree, but they're sleeping, so actually I have to be a little bit quiet. Or not, because I hope they do something.
Is it just me, or does this remind you of the Lion King? Simba, no!
Wow guys, as I mentioned before, it's been a long dry season over here. So the rain is falling for the first time today, and it's raining pretty heavily. So all the animals come out and we see a lot of them. The last thing you would expect on a safari, guys. Turtles crossing the roads.
He does have a very safari-like name. This is a leopard tortoise. We see a lot of them and we have to drive extra carefully not to crush them.
We are back at the campsite, guys, and what a special beautiful day did we have. One of the best days in my traveling life is what I can say. So many different animals, so many that we didn't expect, because normally we do see lions and today we didn't see them, we didn't see the leopards, but all the other animals that we saw, I'm thinking about the owls or the turtles crossing the roads, the cheetahs, and so many animals coming out to celebrate the first rainfall. It was very special, like a documentary on National Geographic here on the Kalahari Desert. We have one more day of safari tomorrow, so maybe we see the lions and the leopards, but for now I'm just trying to process everything that we saw today. It was so beautiful. I'm looking forward to the image as well, because I don't know how they turned out, which you probably already saw in the video.
We catch a well-deserved break, sleep under the African skies, and even at night the animals are all around.
On this beautiful morning, let me explain to you guys how it works with the national park. We got a permit, and if we go into the park, we have to tell them where we're driving and they have to sign for that. So if we don't return, they know that they have to go looking for us and that we're not somewhere being eaten alive by lions. So yeah, I hope that doesn't happen, although it would be exciting. Here we go, guys! Woo! A lion!
New animal spotted. Meerkats.
The meerkat is of course the most famous animal of the Kalahari, because they kind of only live here. Often in groups of 15 to 30. How awesome!
We make another stop at one of the picnic places to get something to eat, but what can I say? Halfway during this day, we already saw almost everything that you can see in this park. I was counting, I think we saw over 30 species here. This is the best safari of my life.
And I was counting just the mammals, of which one is missing in particular. Where are those lions?
Wow, guys, the lions at the waterhole here. So one of the two animals of the big five that we can spot here. Check, they're beautiful. It's 3.
There isn't really anything else I could say than wow. After the lions we see more birds, such as this eagle. And the collection is almost complete, now that we also see the Namakwa dove.
What a day, guys. This morning we started at our campsite, which is called Twee Rivieren, which means two rivers in Afrikaans or Dutch. And you can actually see the two rivers, but there's no water inside. It's just the valleys that are pretty green and where all the animals are at. So we took the one and then we crossed the park through the middle. That's where we saw the lions. And now we go back through the other river, the Green Valley. Coffee! I had to brake instantly, guys, because I saw something in the tree that looked like a banana. But in fact, it's a yellow snake. As a matter of fact, this is a Cape Cobra. Check!
We have seen almost everything on the Kalahari Desert. Therefore, we closed the gate to the campsite for one last time.
That's it, guys, for this episode in the Kgalagadi Transfrontier Park. We're gonna leave South Africa, and in the next episode you'll see us across the border in Namibia. But first we do some chillaxing on this beautiful campsite with a swimming pool. So Jens, are you ready to go in?
Before we continue the road trip, I want to show you this amazing campsite. And we enjoy it to the fullest, because we have a long drive ahead of us.
Oh my god, guys, this weather is not your typical African weather that you're used to. It's raining so heavily that the Kalahari Desert is almost flooding. I'm inside this little cabin where we have a bathroom and a private toilet, so that's where we're staying tonight, because if I show you the car and the tents especially, you wouldn't want to sleep in there. Wow. Wow, guys, I guess we're stuck here for the night because outside
It's raining, right?
yeah, it's raining.
The weirdest thing just happened. I was doing some editing on my computer of videos in Australia. And back there we always used to have some emus walking around trying to grab our breakfast. And while I was doing so, having breakfast, an emu showed up here in South Africa. I was thinking, am I in Australia again? Or am I in South Africa? They do have them here too. Cutest animals.
The video will continue in South Africa later, but in between we had a lot of adventures in Namibia. For that video, click on the link at the top. But of course, we also find the next exquisite safari park here in Namibia.
And we start this amazing episode in the middle of the Namibian desert, on the campsite where we slept last night. When we crossed the border from South Africa, we first went to Sossusvlei. And from there we went up the coast, cruising the so-called Skeleton Coast in Swakopmund. And we saw the seals over there. We also saw some shipwrecks, visited the aquarium, and now we went more into the land, in the middle of the desert. And this is where we slept. As you can see, you have these houses where you can park your vehicle with your rooftop tents, and you have your own bathroom and your own toilet. So that's amazing about Namibia, and we're now halfway on our way to Etosha for the safari. So let's go, guys.
And we still love camping with the Brits 4x4 sleeper.
I want to hold you in my arms again. Just stay with me, not like just
We got everything with us and sleep under the African sky full of stars. By the way, this is a tiny town called Uis, and we're on a campsite called Cactus and Coffee Tea Garden. With a kitchen and a bathroom included, we only pay about $25 a night.
Wow, guys, when we're driving these dirt roads towards Etosha and the safari park, we see so many traditional African villages with these little huts, and where the people are barely naked wearing traditional African clothes. This is Africa.
These people live so remote that they are super happy with some food or water. But unfortunately, it can also be a little bit dangerous to stop out here.
So you think you have had all the bad luck already? Then we got a flat tire.
But we are lucky, because only one car actually passes by, and this gentleman has some experience. Ta-da! Good as new. In total, we drove about 6 hours from the coast through no man's land to arrive at the safari area of Etosha. And we can't believe our eyes when we see what we booked.
So it took us a little bit more time to get to Etosha National Park, because we had to change a tire on the way. A little bit of bad luck, but this behind me is certainly no bad luck. We booked a room for a change at a luxurious lodge called Toshari Lodge on our camping trip. I'll show you the room, and we also have a super nice pool and a great dinner buffet in the evening. This is gonna be one great safari.
Of course, this costs something. We pay about 150 euros a night here, but we are in the very best spot near the entrance gate of the safari park. And I have to say, it's well worth the price. Check it out. kind of bizarre, guys, but all the animals that you see inside the safari park, well, you can eat them here in the restaurant, like a springbok or a wildebeest steak or a kudu.
Yeah.
Yeah, I stick to my pea soup right now, but maybe later.
Oh, good morning, guys. The sun is up here in Etosha National Park. It's still early. We're gonna have some breakfast and then it's time for the first game drive. We're going on safari. We're gonna look for 4 of the big 5 because they have lions, rhinos, elephants and leopards over here. They don't have the buffalo, so that's a shame, but we're gonna look for the rest. Let's go. From our lodge, it's about a 25-minute drive towards the gates of Etosha National Park. And there's one fuel station in the middle. And I suggest to use that fuel station and gas up the car fully because you don't want to get stuck between the lions and go there with your jerry can all the way back. And I don't think you're gonna make that. Etosha National Park was founded in 1907 and this makes it more than 100 years old. Inside is a big salt flat surrounded by bushland. And it's one of the biggest nature parks in all of southern Africa. If all goes well, we're gonna see a lot of different animals inside. So let's go in and find out why this is a place that you cannot skip when you're traveling around in Namibia. Every time that you begin your safari for the first time at one of the parks, it's always exciting which animal you're gonna see first. It's gonna be a lion, it's gonna be an elephant, and in this case it was the ostrich. No, it's not too bad.
Soon we also see many of these lilac-breasted rollers. These birds are just flying works of art.
When you're driving in Etosha in the summer, it's freaking hot, so the animals will all gather at the water holes. This is your best chance to see them. So on our way to the first water hole, we already saw a lonely giraffe right outside here.
Despite the heat, we see a lot of animals in February, because they are constantly looking for food and drinking water. And that, of course, also attracts the predators. We see a lot of Cape ground squirrels. And they got some huge nuts. We also see springboks and many birds like the crowned lapwing. And this pale chanting goshawk. We also see a lot of these black-faced impalas, and that's actually why I chose this dramatic music. We get to witness a duel between 2 young males. From the other side, a group of kudus is also enjoying the fight. Unfortunately, this beautiful antelope species is often on the menu in Namibia.
It's always kind of funny in the safari parks that in the zoo you have the animals in the cages, but over here when you want to go to a picnic site or to the toilets, you have to go inside the cage. So we're in the cage and the animals are outside.
The next animal that we encounter in large numbers is the zebra.
Awesome!
They sometimes run past in groups of up to 50. We have already spotted many birds of prey, such as this lesser kestrel, but I think it's about time we find some larger predators.
So we're cruising the park now for a couple of hours and it's 1 p.m. Outside it's freaking hot. What's it now?
37 degrees.
37 Celsius. So yeah, if I were a lion, I would go swimming in one of those waterholes, but we haven't seen any at the waterholes yet. We've seen a lot of things like antelopes, birds, but yeah, we're waiting for the big five and for the predators. So let's keep looking, guys.
Seeing thousands of Abdim storks and also this Kori bustard. The big five is actually closer than we think.
So we're looking at all the pretty birds over there. I was counting them, I think. But then in the back, I suddenly see a way bigger animal.
A rhino!
Yes, a rhino.
We even see several and they come very close. The rhino is seriously endangered because they are hunted a lot. That makes our meeting even more special.
Second one of the big five, guys, the elephant. Oh my god, guys, we just stopped at one of the campsites called Halali and we went in the shop to get some ice cream or souvenir. And outside was a hornbill, the one like in the Lion King called Zazu. And it was eating a butterfly. It was attacking it like that. Awesome.
Even during our lunch break, we see squirrels and a lot of different birds. This here is the violet-wooded hoopoe and the grey lory.
Whatever you did, can you do some more now? Swear you got me falling for your excellence. Whatever you gave, can you take some more now? Swear you got me craving all night and day.
There are animals everywhere we look. We even see mongooses and different species of hornbills. And this right here is the southern black korhan. And a beautiful grey kite. And then suddenly, cheetahs. Finally, it's time for the predators because we also see a lot of lions.
Whatever you get, can you do some more now? Swear you got me falling for you instantly. Whatever you get, can you take some more now? Swear you got me craving you night and day.
Wow guys, we saw so many animals already today, but it's time for the final destination of today, which will be at O Calquejo, a very difficult name for the campsite that has one lost waterhole where we are supposed to be able to spot rhinos and elephants if we are lucky.
Too bad. For now it's only zebras. But when the sun goes down in Africa, anything can happen.
Oh my god, guys, I was a bit disappointed because at the last waterhole I wanted to see a rhino and we didn't. So on the way back I said to Suze, I'm sure we're gonna see one more rhino, I'm sure. And just before the gates, we saw this big rhino right next to the car.
We dine in African style, thanks to the musical hotel staff.
Good morning guys, the sun is up here at the lodge and we all had a good night's rest. Although I must say I was still looking for animals in my dreams. I had a crazy safari space night. Nevertheless, we're looking forward to the second day here in Etosha and look for more animals. Let's go.
Guys, I just can't get over it. We see so many animals in Etosha. Here are some Namakwa doves. And this right here is the marabou.
Today we make one of the northern routes in the park and we drive just along the southern rim of the biggest salt flat in the middle of Etosha. As you can see behind me, this stretches on for miles. And this is also a place where you can see cheetahs, where they can reach high speeds when they catch their prey. So I'm going back into the car.
A large group of wildebeests emerges in the woods, and they seem to have young ones. How awesome!
So we've been following the signs that say toilet for about half an hour. It's like a picnic site where you can go to the bathroom, and we found it. And this is the toilet. We stopped immediately because we saw a bunch of elephants. It's a whole family. I think it's maybe 15 and they have little ones.
The last animal that I want to show you is the red hartebeest, and then we drive out of the park.
That's it guys for today's episode, and we end the Etosha Safari in style at a local restaurant called KFC, African Fried Chicken.
From Namibia we cross to the challenging landscape of Botswana. For that video you can also click at the top of your screen. The last country before we return to South Africa is Zimbabwe. You can also see the link to that video at the top. As we cross the Bight Bridge, it is now time to continue the road trip in South Africa, for one of the most famous safari parks in the entire world.
We made it guys, it took us 7 hours driving and 1.5 hours at the border, but we're finally here in the northern city of the famous Kruger Park. This is Phalaborwa.
We're back in South Africa and we can't wait to see all the animals. But first we spent the night at this cozy place, a traveler's palm.
So the coming days we'll be visiting world's most famous safari game park and the biggest in all of South Africa, because Kruger Park is about 20,000 square kilometers big, which is half the size of the country that I live in, the Netherlands. And because it's so big, we're gonna need more days to see it. We slept in the north in Phalaborwa in a nice resort on the edge of the park, and we go through the entrance gate from here, and the next days we'll be sleeping inside the park as well to see all the wild animals up close. Guys, Kruger Park, here we come. How relaxed is this for a change, guys? In Botswana and Zimbabwe we didn't have many facilities. We're always in the middle of nowhere. But now when we go to Kruger Park and we have to get some groceries for the couple of days that we go into the park, there's a Spar actually right at the entrance gate of the park. So we do the less groceries, we get some top up for the mobile phone, some prepaid, and then we go into the park. The most beautiful thing about the Kruger Park is that it's so big that you have so many different entrance gates where the landscape and the animals that you can see are totally different. This behind me is the gate that we're going through, Phalaborwa gate, and from the north we'll be driving down south to see all the different animals and the landscape changing every half an hour. Before you go, always be sure to check the sightings board, and there is one right over here so we can see with colors where all the animals are inside the park.
And we're gonna look for leopards.
Finally, I hope.
At the gate they do a quick check, and for 23 bucks per person per day we can search endlessly for wild animals. And among many impalas, these are the first beautiful fork-tailed rollers. We also see the beautiful klipspringers on the rocks. Several kudus are crossing here. It has been raining a lot lately and therefore the ride is bumpy and exciting. We enjoy a little rally driving through the mud. On the way to one of the larger lakes.
We're at the Kgalagadi Dam and we see some hippos there in the distance. I hear them.
And these are also very special. The southern ground hornbill is a critically endangered species, and yet we see 3 of them.
Oh my god, guys, elephants on the road, look, look, look! I'm so excited that I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. In the Kruger Parky.
Some animals run by quickly and others take their time. Like the leopard tortoise. Now let's look for a real leopard.
In Kruger, it's of course strictly forbidden to leave your car at any moment because it's too dangerous. But the river we just saw, which is called the Olifantsrivier, the Elephants River, is actually a river that I swam in. It wasn't here, it was a month ago and it was on the other side of South Africa. Awesome.
But back to the present, where we leave the paved roads behind to drive deeper into nature.
We had to give way because I see zebra stripes.
And if you look closely, you will see more than just zebras here.
So we were driving around the Olifantsrivier and we saw 2 zebras. So while I was checking out the zebras, I saw a badger, a honey badger that was walking along the river with a smaller badger in his mouth, probably a baby or something.
Look, there they go! We see beautiful birds everywhere, like the colorful bee-eaters.
those spots are the best, right? That you're in the safari park and you see like 5 different animals like giraffes and zebras and warthogs and a lot of antelopes. Awesome. But now we're gonna look for predators.
We also look for predators among these friendly animals, because we drive through lion territory between the Lebara River and the border with Mozambique.
It's kind of far, but there are lions over there.
We first spot only 1 or 2 lions, but it soon turns out to be an entire family with youngsters.
So unfortunate, guys, it's about 5:30 and we have to get back to the camp, otherwise it will close. So we have to say goodbye to the lions, but I think there are 8 of them over there under the trees. It's awesome.
We drive over the elephant bridge, and this is the territory of the baboons. And while the sun sets, we still see many animals on the way to the Satara rest camp.
With not even 1 minute left, we reached the campsite and we are at our little cottage where we're gonna sleep and dream about the beautiful safari we had with all the animals that we saw. And tomorrow's another day for a new safari. And now it's time to make some food actually. And jump on the bed. Yes! Jump on the bed! Jump on the bed! Woo! Pasta di bout.
A very good morning, guys. Yesterday it was already pretty late when we arrived at Satara campsite. This campsite is deep inside the Kruger Park and it's actually quite close to the border with Mozambique. So yesterday it was already sunset, it was getting pretty dark. We had to find our little cottage in the dark. The car is parked over there right next to the house and we slept pretty good because yeah, it's quiet over here. The animals are just outside of the gate, so it's very exciting. I'm making some coffee in the morning, it's raining a little bit, but it's not too bad, so we're going on a second safari.
And the adventure starts at the campsite.
Oh my god, just as I was making coffee inside, I heard a noise outside and there were two honey badgers going around all the cottages trying to steal food from the trash cans. So I chased them and I got them on camera. We're really inside the wild, guys.
This very special honey badger that we also saw yesterday is certainly not shy.
So I just encountered a guide who told me that these badgers are the most dangerous animals they have here after the lion. Because when they bite you, and they sometimes do when they feel cornered, they will bite you again and again until they kill you. So even 2 badgers could kill a person. So I won't go too close, I guess.
Today, basically, the weather sucks. But strangely enough, we actually see a lot of animals. It might have something to do with this dramatic music, but it actually seems like the animals are also disappointed that today their beach trips are cancelled.
Look, hippos! Really close.
It's really worth it to take a safari in the rain, guys. We saw 3 hyenas among so many other animals, and we saw them in the distance. I'm trying to film them and everything, and then one came right at us and he crossed the street here just in front of the car. I'm trying to film him up close.
For now, we leave the Kruger Park to look for a nice hotel on the rim of the park. And that works out perfectly on the typical South African ranch op die plaats in Hazy View. Time to enjoy a movie, some chips and homemade guacamole.
Good morning, guys! Yesterday we used the Orpen Gate to leave the Kruger National Park, and now we are in Hazy View, a little town in the south of the Kruger Park. And behind me you see the house where we are on the hill. The weather is a little bit better than yesterday. It's not raining anymore. We had time to relax and to recover from the safaris that we had already. And now it's time for a new safari, because today the sun is gonna shine, actually, and we're going to the south of Kruger Park. We're gonna use the Paul Kruger Gate and drive to Skukuza, which is the capital of the Kruger Park and in the middle of lion and leopard country. And also, we need 2 more of the big 5. After the leopard, we also want to see rhinos and buffaloes. So let's go to the south of Kruger Park.
From Hazy View, we continue our journey back to the Kruger Park. Today, the Pabeni Gate gives us access to the south of the park. And of all the animals, we are still looking for the leopard. Who knows, it might be our day. Before we enter the park, of course, we visit the sightings board, and I already see a lot of interesting colored pins right over here. Leopards, buffaloes, wild dogs. Here we go. Okay, I can promise you we will encounter all of them.
We stopped along the river, guys, because across the water we see a lot of hippos over there.
We didn't see them out of the water yet.
Normally they're swimming, but now you can see them extra good.
Today we see all kinds of animals again, including the playful green furred monkeys. Halfway through the day we arrive at Skukuza, the largest camp in the Kruger Park, with a luxurious restaurant, some shops and many more facilities. And if you're considering doing some night swimming over here, I wouldn't do it. Whoa! It's still the middle of the day, but we already arrived at the campsite where we're gonna sleep tonight. This is the Skukuza rest area, and this awesome, huge safari tent behind me is where we will sleep between the wild animals. Shall we look inside?
Yeah, but I'm opening it.
Go! Awesome, let's look inside. Yes. Super awesome. What a great place to spend the night, isn't it? And of course, the animals are still everywhere.
already thought the inside of the safari tent was awesome, then just take a look outside. In 3 meters we're at the fence, so there will be lions and other wild animals, hyenas, leopards, growling over there while we are sleeping. Oh my god, there's a gap in the fence right over there.
It's time for an evening game drive from Skukuza, and we're off to a good start already.
2 giraffes on the road. Awesome!
Look at these legs!
Wild dogs, guys. So close.
The African wild dogs are very special. There are only 4 areas on Earth, with a total of a few thousand and only a couple of hundreds in the Kruger Park. They're wearing a tracker so that the rangers can help maintain the population. What special animals, and how lucky are we to see them?
We're being so spoiled, guys. There were wild dogs all around the car, and while we were filming them and everybody else was trying to film them, we saw 2 hyenas coming, and we just drove to them very fast, and then there was a confrontation between the hyenas and the wild dogs all on this road. Awesome.
This was so awesome.
The spotted hyena is also quite special. With around 2,000 animals spread throughout the Kruger Park, they are with approximately the same number as the lions.
Wow, jongens, look. There's a hyena.
And these creatures have the strongest jaws of all the animals on Earth, with which they can easily break bones. You wouldn't say that, right? Because they are actually pretty cute. A yellow-billed hornbill is on the lookout here. Just like this lilac-breasted roller. We encounter elephants just about everywhere, a lot more than in the north of the Kruger Park. And when we drive to the best viewpoint at Matekenyane Hill, a dream comes true.
We have been looking in all the trees, guys, looking for that elusive predator that we never saw before, the leopard. And finally, all of a sudden, I was like, wow, this is it, guys. My dream has come true. The leopard in the tree right over there. We saw the big 5 and all the other animals too.
Finally! And what a beautiful animal this is. I feel a bit underdressed.
So this morning they probably forgot to mention at the gate that it's International Predator Day, because we saw in only 1 hour like the wild African dogs, the hyenas, and now the leopard. And we were actually the first one to spot him. Nice word joke, spot him. And Suze wanted me to tell you because 10 cars were all around us, but we were there first. And then they were giving us all these mad looks like, go aside with your car. And I'm like, without us you probably wouldn't even have spotted him, but okay. So yeah, good day for safari.
Another one of the big five, the buffalo.
The Cape buffalo is also one of the big five, and big it certainly is. They can weigh up to 1,000 kilos, and you usually see tens to hundreds of them at a time. When the night falls, a new adventure begins, when we go to sleep among the wildlife in our safari tent.
What a day, guys, what a day. It's raining outside and we deserve this camping dish. Wow, guys, it's the middle of the night and you gotta hear these sounds. It's the hyenas around us. It's so awesome.
After yesterday, we can finally say that the mission is completed. We started in Cape Town about 5 weeks ago and we traveled through South Africa, Namibia, Botswana and Zimbabwe to end up here in the Kruger Park for the final safari. And on the way we saw all the animals that we could possibly see. We had 12 days of safari and spent more than 50 hours in the car looking for them, and yesterday was of course the cherry on top of the pie with the leopard. So today is totally a bonus, but I'm gonna enjoy it, Kruger Park, for one last day. And then we head to Johannesburg to deliver the camper van and head on for the next travel.
On our bonus day, we of course see many more fantastic animals around us. Because despite its gigantic surface area, the Kruger Park also has a lot of animals per square meter. What about these vultures? But also the last one of the big five that we didn't see here yet, the rhino.
Oh my god, guys, check out the baby hyena. It's just a pup. So awesome. Wow. Look.
Hello.
We make a stop at Pretoriuskop, another camp where we do some chillaxing and also buy some souvenirs. But the animals just keep on coming by to say hello. And I think the hyena count is almost at 100 now. Seriously. Let's cheers to seeing everything on our Kruger safari and to new adventures. That's it for the Kruger Park and all those beautiful animals that we got to encounter here. We drive to Johannesburg to deliver the camper van and end our road trip of no less than 6,000 kilometers. And of course we do it in style. Guys, before we say goodbye, in this episode there's something special on the end of the trip in South Africa, because I already told you we're having a baby. Sus is pregnant and we're having a fourth member here of the What of the World crew. We already had an ultrasound made in Cape Town and today we have a 4D scan in Johannesburg. Exciting!
So I'm not seeing anything funny here. It all looks good. See the mouth moving? Do you see how it's
Oh wow!
Oh wow, this is really cool.
It's a girl, by the way. After a lovely stay in sunny Johannesburg, it's finally time to leave the mainland of Africa. But we're not leaving the continent yet because we're hitting the islands, and the first stop will be Mauritius. I'll see you in the next episode. Next time you'll see us island hopping in paradise. So don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you soon in Mauritius and La Réunion. So here's a little preview.